We are Black We are Houston.
Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. It's interleague baseball. It's the first of two interleague series. The Astros in this series meeting the Kansas City Royals from the American League Central. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies. The Astros very, very happy to be back at home where they're playing so much better than they are on the road this year, JD.
Yeah, tough road trip getting swept there in Texas, finishing 3-6 on that last trip. Now they come home for the Royals, Indians, and Padres, and looking to get something done against the Royals here. We take a look at some numbers. The Astros, 4 games better than 500 here at Minute Maid Park. That's the third best winning percentage in the Central at home. Altuve hitting better than 300. Justin Maxwell, 277, 4 of his home runs coming here. All 5 of Chris Johnson's home runs here in this ballpark. And J. Happ, who takes the ball tonight, his 4 wins have all taken place here at Minute Maid Park.
It's a matchup of lefties. Jonathan Sanchez goes for the Royals. All kinds of plans for this 10-game homestand for the Astros. Giveaways, outdoor activities. And the ballpark will be interesting because it's the Royals, the Indians, and the Padres. 3 different teams coming in to face the Astros, and it all starts in just a moment.
Progressive Insurance Group. For a money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today. Minute Maid Park, the Astros inside, getting set to take on the Kansas City Royals in the first of a 3-game interleague series. The Astros will have another one here at home against Cleveland before wrapping up interleague play. This one will feature an interesting pitching matchup, to be sure. J. Happ needing to bounce back from a poor start in his last outing, and Jonathan Sanchez, a pitcher that's got a very high earned run average and who has walked more than he's supposed to, yet he's been relatively tough to hit. The meeting at home plate about to break up as the Astros take the field. That means it's my cue to send to the booth Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thank you, Greg Lucas. There you see the umpires gathered, and they go over the ground rules in this ballpark before game one of this 3-game series. Bob Davidson there. On the right is the home plate umpire. Brad Mills is explaining things to this crew and to Chino Garcia, who is the bench coach for Kansas City manager Ned Yost. Here's the Hyundai starting lineup for Ned Yost. It begins with left fielder Alex Gordon. Yuniesky Betancourt is the second baseman with Billy Butler at first base. He's normally the DH. The cleanup man is right fielder Jeff Francoeur with Mike Moustakas at third base. Alcides Escobar, the shortstop. Humberto Quintero, the former Astro, the catcher. Gerard Dyson at center field. Jonathan Sanchez on the mound, the former Giant lefty.
Not too long ago, J. Happ was 4-3, but he's lost 4 in a row. He has fallen to 4-7 with an ERA of 5.33. He's made 13 starts. League hits .296 against him. And a rough time last time out. He was on the wrong end of that perfect game delivered by Matt Cain. Jay worked 3 1/3, allowed 11 hits, 8 runs in that ball game in San Francisco. He's a fly ball pitcher charged with running down those fly balls are Martinez, Maxwell, and Downs. And as you take a look at the infield, you note that Brian Bixler will make his first start at shortstop this year. He's played a bunch of shortstop in his career, both in the big leagues and in the minor leagues. A night off for Jed Lowry as Brad Mills stacks his lineup with right-handed hitters against the lefty Sanchez.
This will be J. Happ's first interleague start of this season. He faced Tampa Bay and Boston last year in interleague pitching. It's Bob Davidson at home, Mike Muchlinski at first, Dan Bellino at second, and Jerry Lane at third. Game one of a 10-game homestand for the Astros, coming off a 3-6 road trip. And they are 27-39 overall. For J. Happ, like so many of the Astros pitchers, his number much better at home than on the road. 4 wins, 4 losses here with a 4.21 ERA.
And there's that line on that start against the Giants. 3 1/3, 11 hits, 8 runs allowed. He gave up a couple of home runs in that ball game. He thought it'd be a good night for him in AT&T Park. It's a good park for a fly ball pitcher, although Jay has gotten more ground balls this year than in the past. 4-game losing streak, but the first 2 of those 4 he actually pitched well. He allowed 2 runs in 6 1/3 and then 3 runs in 7 innings. Really, it's only been the last 2 starts where he's got knocked around a little bit.
Alex Gordon, a .255 hitter with a .360 on base average, gets it going and takes strike 1. The Royals probably exhausted from their 15-inning win in St. Louis yesterday. Gordon has been solid for them. He's drawn 39 walks. And much better out of the leadoff spot than he was hitting third earlier this season. He is 5th in the league in doubles with 20. He drew 5 walks yesterday. Bounces this one, and it's a foul ball for Carlos Lee to his left for a 1-2 count to Alex Gordon. The first-round pick in 2005 by Kansas City, the second player drafted that year.
Mike Muchlinski, the first base umpire, and Carlos Lee discussing that last ground ball. Carlos, I think, is pressing his case that it should have been a fair ball. In case he will not win.
The Royals are 14th in runs scored in the American League.
That's out of 14 teams.
Yeah, 2-2, but somehow they're 29-35. They're winning a lot of close games this season, and just doing some magical things when the game is close. Gordon is hitting .234 against lefties. It's out to second base. Altuve, 1 out.
Well, their bullpen's been really good. That's probably been the strength of their team, at least when you break down the numbers. Again, last in the league in runs scored. They're 9th in ERA, but the bullpen ERA is among the best, and especially of late. And they've played a bundle of close games lately. Well, you look at their day by day, it's 3-2, 4-2, 3-2. And won 5 out of 6. And since starting the year 3-14, including a 12-game losing streak, they've won, or they've gone 26-21 since then.
Yuniesky Betancourt Former Milwaukee Brewer takes playing second base tonight. He looks at ball one. He's a former shortstop, Cuban born, signed in 05 by Seattle. Kansas City traded for him in 09. Then they traded him away after the 2010 season to Milwaukee. Then they signed him back last winter as a free agent. 2 balls, no strikes. He's 30 years old. Happ gets a foul ball, and it's a 2-1 count for Jay, shooting for win number 5 of this season. Has a very good strikeout ratio. He struck out 76 and 73 innings this year. And he's up there in Tim Lincecum's neighborhood among guys with losing records. 3 balls and a strike. He'd love to begin a turnaround starting tonight, as Jay took his lumps last time against Matt Cain, giving up 8 earned runs in 3 1/3. He's lost his last 4.
Now Betancourt, he's just the opposite of Gordon. He's up there hacking. As a matter of fact, Gordon walked as many times in that game yesterday as Betancourt has all year. Betancourt's walked 5 times this entire season. He's not an everyday guy. He's played 25 games, 88 at bats. But he's a nose to toes guy.
And illustrates that by reaching up for a pitch and fouling it. Chris Snyder could have retired him had he not had that ball pop out of his mitt. And Betancourt came up with a couple of big hits yesterday. A game-winning homer in the 15th.
That's the follow through that got Snyder in the back of the wrist.
Sure did. And Nate Lucero's out to look at it. Taking a look at the back of the left hand, it appears. Wants to make sure that he can do a strength test, clinch that fist, and report no odd feelings from that. And he's ready to go. Now, the Royals played for 5 hours yesterday.
And we didn't. Sure felt like it.
Seemed like it, didn't it? 3 balls, 2 strikes. They were down by 1. 2 outs, nobody on, and an 0-2 count in the 9th inning, and Billy Butler tied it with a homer. So they really rescued that one.
Jason Mott was just blowing people away, and then Billy Butler ran into one.
That's out to center field, pushing Maxwell back deeper and over him, and it goes up on Towles Hill. Betancourt with extra bases. He's going to try third, and here's the relay to third base. It's offline. He's in with a triple.
Well, clearly that ball fooled Justin Maxwell a little bit as Betancourt put a real good swing on it. Maxwell turned and he was running as if he had it measured, but ultimately could not track it down.
And he had to throw from up on top of the hill. First triple for Betancourt. He's aboard for Billy Butler. Normally the DH playing first base tonight. Infield coming in for the Astros on Butler, a 300 hitter with 12 homers, 38 runs batted in. He's raking against lefties this year. Ball 1 to Butler, hitting .386 against southpaws.
And the mechanics of that throw off that hill a little bit difficult. Didn't have a lot on it. The relay throw was strong, just a little bit offline.
Butler takes a close one. It's 2-0 to Billy Butler. Just an outstanding hitter at 300, leading the club in batting average, homers, and runs batted in. And that's not new territory for him.
Just big, country strong guy, and on pace for his best home run year ever.
How's that one back?
He's always been a guy who, you know, hit 15, 20 home runs, a pile of doubles, and hit for a high average, but got 12 home runs already this year. His best season for home runs was 2009 when he had 21. He does not get cheated.
His RBI totals the last 3 years for Kansas City are 93, 95, and 95. those numbers overall. Fouled it back, and I think Jay might have escaped some trouble on that one. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 318 average in 2010, and 297 lifetime now for Billy Butler. He was a first-round pick in 04. Royals have developed a lot of their own players, and they have several first-round picks on their roster right now. He's from Orange Park, Florida. Fouled away.
Certainly had the opportunity to draft near the top of that board for many, many years. They've had 1 winning season of the last 17. And since moving into the 3 divisional format, they've finished last a whole bunch of times, had 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons.
Nice block by Snyder on that one in the dirt. Now it's a full count on Butler. Butler's walked 20 times this year. Jeff Francoeur, much more of a free swinger, is on deck. Royals are 6-6 against the National League clubs this year. They've won 7 of their last 10 from the Astros. The Astros lead the all-time series from Kansas City, 16-11. Little chop going to short, backhanded play. Bixler looks the runner over and gets him. That was a difficult play. Had to come in and reach down on the backhand side. Then he had the runner to worry about. 2 outs.
Yeah, having the infield pulled in pays off for Brad Mills. They're back. Betancourt rather scores easily on this one. Well done by Bixler. Pretty good job by Betancourt too, coming down the line a little bit to distract him.
It was
a little something to think about.
Jeff Francoeur, the former Atlanta Brave, also New York Met, and Texas Ranger for that matter, takes strike 1. Francoeur, a .272 hitter with 5 homers, has driven in 18 with a .313 on base average. Jeff joined the 2020 club last year. 20 homers, 22 steals. That went into center field to make it 1-0 Kansas City as Francoeur drives in his 19th of the year, scoring Betancourt. The Royals take the early lead as Frenchie comes through for them.
It's as if Ned Yost, we talk about a lineup being balanced with left and right, but Ned, he's gone patient hitter, free swinger, patient hitter, free swinger. And the free swinger is getting it done. Betancourt and Francoeur. Triple single, Royals up 1.
Mike Moustakas looks at ball 1. Snyder comes up out of the chute. .278 for Moustakas, 10 homers. He's driven in 33. He's 23 years old. Chatsworth, California. First round pick in 07. He was the second player drafted that year. He had 338 at bats last year in his rookie season for Kansas City. In the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes.
Francoeur not much of a base stealer. He's 1 for 4 this year.
Moustakas had a big series in St. Louis, going 7 for 15.
Coming off back-to-back 3-hit games.
This will be the 25th pitch of the inning.
Yeah, and that's a trend that needs to get turned around in a hurry because the Astros need some starting pitchers to go deep into games. Boy, it hasn't happened very much at all in recent games, and the bullpen is worn thin.
Now both these teams can commiserate on that count.
The Royals replenished their bullpen. They called 2 pitchers up to the big leagues for this series.
A right-hander and a lefty.
They have 9 men in their bullpen tonight. Probably a third of them not available, but still, that's a lot of bodies out there in the pen.
You bet. That's out to center field. Maxwell waiting. And it's 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left for the Royals. The Astros come up against Jonathan Sanchez right after this. Lead as he goes out to pitch the bottom of the first against this Brad Mills starting lineup, brought to you by Hyundai. Jose Altuve at second base, Brian Bixler at short, Justin Maxwell in center, Carlos Lee at first, J.D. Martinez in left, Chris Johnson at third, Matt Downs in right, Chris Snyder the catcher, Jay Happ the pitcher.
Left-hander Jonathan Sanchez for the Royals. Tonight, he spent about a month on the disabled list with biceps tendonitis. That's why he's only made 7 starts. 1-2 ERA, approaching 6. Strikeout walk numbers not good. League hitting .269 against him, the former Giant. Over in a trade that sent Melky Cabrera to the Giants. Right now, the Giants winning that deal decisively.
First pitch, showing bunt. Altuve takes strike one. Jose beginning the night at .318 with 4 homers, has 22 runs batted in, 83 hits, place him third best in the National League. And he has scored 43 runs to rank in a 7th place tie. Sanchez moves him back off the plate. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sanchez fastball, slider, and changeup. Didn't quite have the zip on his fastball as when we saw him with the Giants.
It's 2-1. He pitched a no-hitter for them. They drafted him in the 27th round in 04.
This is his 2nd start since coming off the DL. Last time out, 5 innings, 7 hits, 1 run.
He has really struggled to go beyond 5 this year. 3-1 with Quintero the catcher.
I think that arm was bothering him for much of the season. Then they finally decided to shut him down and put him on the DL.
Altuve puts one in the air to left center field. Dyson going for it. Dyson catches it. Got a little too much underneath it for the Astros, and it's out number 1.
Don't they make vacuum cleaners?
Yeah,
Dyson?
think so.
Should be an infielder.
Could be a vacuum cleaner in the outfield, maybe.
Well, they're pretty strong up the middle with the Dyson kid in center and Escobar at short. Gordon and Francoeur joined Dyson in the outfield. Don't run out Frenchie. Nobody has more outfield assists than that guy over the last few years. And, of course, we all know about Quintero. I'm putting the over-under at pickoff attempts in this series at 12 with Q behind the plate. He'll try to pick off guys at least 12 times.
Brian Bixler looks at strike one. 259 for Brian. 2 runs batted in. As JD mentioned, this is his first start at shortstop. Jed Lowry just getting a rest tonight. Brad Mills said he didn't really discuss this one with Jed. Normally he does in advance, but due to the length of the road trip, the heat in Texas, he just decided to make out that card without Jed's name in it before Jed got to the ballpark today. Foul back. It's 1-2, and Bixler trying to get a board from Maxwell now.
Well, right-handed Jed's been scuffling a little bit, hasn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Hitting .196.
That might be playing into it as well. Talk about scuffling. Those folks scuffling. Now this one's in the air to left field. Brian Bixler watching this one fly. And the Astros have a 1-1 tie as Bixler goes deep. Number 1 for him as an Astro.
That's some good managing right there, baby. Sparkling play in the field, and then he goes deep. He's the leader in the clubhouse for player of the game.
That's his first major league homer.
Somebody get up on top of that train track. Bobby Dynamite, retrieve that. Locked and loaded. And then watch that barrel fly through.
Good view of it. Kevin Allen is all over it out there in left field. Now Justin Maxwell looks at ball 1.
That's his first big league home run, eh?
Believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, he had 235 major league at bats coming into this season. And now he adds a long ball. Number 1. Foul back. 1-1. He hasn't had much playing time. He had 108 at bats for Pittsburgh in 08, 44 for the Pirates in 09. Was in the minors in 2010, and last year just 83 at bats with Washington. So he's on the board. And the Astros are on the board too in a 1-1 game. That makes it 2-1. Always nice to get that run back after you give it up in the first.
Yeah.
234 for J Max with 7 long balls, and some of those of the tape measure variety, as you've probably seen. Now it's 3-1. Bixler's homer at 358 feet. Maxwell's hit 239 against lefties. And Sanchez, as you mentioned, being called upon to take this fairly deep. At least that's what the Royals would love to see. He has a 5.93 ERA in his last 7 starts.
Their bullpen went 9 innings in that ball game yesterday in St. Louis.
That was ball 4, not even close. Maxwell taking a walk, and that's been the issue with Sanchez. Command problems.
When he was with the Giants, my recollection was plus stuff with subpar command. He doesn't quite have the zip on that heater, so he's got to be sharper with his command.
Last year for the Giants, he walked 66 in 101 innings. Now it's Carlos lead. 301 for Carlos, 4 homers, 25 runs batted in. By far the most difficult man to strike out in the major leagues this year. Carlos returning to the lineup yesterday, and he showed that ability to make solid contact, going 2 for 4 and driving in 2 runs. He's only hit 159 against lefties this year. Snap throw to first. There's one.
Mark it down.
Ball 1 to Lee.
That's the 40th attempted pickoff for Q this year. He's gotten 1 guy, but it's not just about the guys you get, though. It's the putting guys on alert, tightening up a little bit.
True. Good to see him back.
No harm as long as you don't throw it into right field.
Nope. 2 balls, no strikes to El Caballo. He was featured on one of those shows on the Major League Baseball Network today. They had a half-hour show about the best hitters against a given team. He was the best hitter against the Chicago Cubs. He was their all-opponent guy. Showed him hitting a grand slam at Wrigley as a member of the White Sox years ago. Whoa, thrown away. Now Maxwell will get at least a second. He's going to get to third. No problem there.
Score.
Dave Clark's going to bring him around and send him home. And the throw to Quintero not in time.
Wow. When's the last time you saw that? How about never?
3-base throwing error by Jonathan Sanchez to give the Astros a 2-1 lead.
That is unbelievable. We just got talking about Q, and as long as you don't throw it into right field, and this throw not even close to Butler, and Maxwell off to the races, diving back in and then up. So that's the full Monty there, baby. He went all the way around those 3 bases. Good aggressive send by Dave Clark, and the Astros have the lead.
Yes, it was. 2-0 to Carlos. He hits it in the air on the infield. And the shortstop, Escobar, takes care of out number 2. That was a gift run to give the Astros the lead. 3-base error on Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, I can't recall having ever seen this before.
No.
Coming all the way around to score on a ball like that.
You wonder what took so long for somebody to run that ball down. Now J.D. Martinez. J.D. looks at strike 1. 219 is his average. Here we'll get a look at it.
First of all, a horrible throw, and I can't tell where Francoeur was. He would have been the guy, maybe.
J-Max hit third base just perfectly in stride. Scored rather easily, actually. No balls and a strike.
How many players in the major leagues this year scored from first on a pickoff throw and hit a 461-foot home run?
1. 7 homers for J.D.
Look out, folks.
2-2.
Changeup is a good pitch for Sanchez. That was a bit of a hanger.
Right. It found a good spot. Chris Johnson on deck. Out into right field, and that will fall for a looping single for J.D. Martinez. Astros ready for a turnaround in their hitting. They've been striking out a ton. Mike Barnett said it around the batting cage tonight, JD. He said, we know and we talk about it every day that the strikeout totals are high, that we need to be more selective. We're working on it.
Well, let's see if we get a look at just the way the ball checked up. It just worked out perfectly for the Astros.
Yeah.
Spin kicked it back into that corner. No player you could expect to have gotten on that ball any sooner than they did.
That's right. It was just one of those unusual throws. It was so far toward home plate, wide of first base. Chris Johnson, the batter now.
Well, it's interesting because, you know, the Astros, they've been swinging and missing a lot, but they've also been rung up on a lot of borderline pitches.
Right.
And I'm not so sure that wasn't what Brad Mills was talking to Bob Davidson before the game. If I were Mills, I would have said, look, my guys got rung up yesterday a bunch on borderline calls, balls that we thought were off the plate. Just because we're a young club, you might have been talking to him about the weather or his golf game. But I'm just saying, if I were Mills, that might have been something I would have brought up to Davidson.
Well, we talked about that on the bench as he had his media session tonight, and I was asking some opinions around the batting cage, but you know, I don't think the Astros want to whine about it. Ground ball foul.
Nor should they. Oh, nice play. Jerry Lane.
Nice, Jerry.
And then right back into his official position. Watch this. Look at that.
Fair hand.
Nobody's going to advance on Jerry.
No way, baby. That's the word. You don't run on Jerry Lane. Chris Johnson said this type pitcher is very difficult for him. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Just hard to know. As you see, he's hit well at home with all 5 of his homers and a .294 average. Hard to know where that pitch is going to be because Sanchez might just paint with it, or he might miss by 6 inches. I'll say it, JD. I don't think the Astros would want to say it in an interview or anything like that. But here's an issue that seemed to me to come to the forefront the last few games, especially. We were watching the Fox box yesterday, and it seemed like the Astros hitters were getting rung up on a lot of pitches that were outside that strike zone. They have a lot of young hitters and playing more established players on other teams who have those reputations. Line shot to center field. And it might just take them a while to get those calls. They might just have to take their medicine. It's 2 runs, 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left, and the Astros lead it. Fixler with his first major league homer, 2-1.
Altuve, Jed Lowry, and your favorite Astros need your help to get to the All-Star game in Kansas City. Tomorrow night, you can vote in stadium for your favorite Astros and have a chance to win great prizes. For every 5 ballots you cast, you'll be entered in a raffle to win game-used balls, caps, and more at the end of each inning. Don't forget to also cast your votes up to 25 times online at astros.com/vote. Root now and buy tickets at astros.com. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. There's Escobar taking the first pitch, and it's strike one for J. Happ. Alcides Escobar, formerly with Milwaukee, a .288 hitter. 1 homer, 18 runs batted in. Very, very good defensive player. He's been making the highlight reels several times in recent days.
Yeah, he can really flash the leather offensively. Doesn't hit for much power. Speed guy.
2-1.
Stolen 12 bags. He's been caught once. Got to tighten up on him in the corners. Likes to try to bunt for a hit.
Escobar has a .332 on base average. And swings at that pitch, showing you why he has a .332 on base average. He's walked 9 times. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Escobar.
These are the 2 youngest clubs in Major League Baseball right here. Just a tick over 27 years of age, average age for both the Astros and the Royals.
I'm just looking at the form chart for Dayton Moore, their general manager. And by the way, he said when he took over a few years ago, this might take 8 years. But the Royals have drafted with those first-round picks, brought those guys through the system quickly to the Major League club. That's their plan. That's the Astros plan. J. Happ taking care of out number 1. And well, it was odd that he would mention 8 years, right?
That's asking the fans for an awful lot.
It is.
We got an 8-year plan here. Especially when they've had losing seasons, 16 of the last 17. I mean, if you're a fan, aren't you saying, well, wait a minute now?
Mm-hmm.
A few years into this already.
I think that was a commentary on their farm system at the time he took over. And he's attempted to address that. Humberto Quintero, .230, 1 homer, 19 runs batted in.
That's good job preservation right there. Hey, just give me 8 years and I'll get this thing turned around, folks.
Should be enough. Quintero sharing this catching job with Brian Pena in the absence of Salvador Perez, the young catcher who was given a 5-year deal, and he's been out after knee surgery. Should be back later this month. That's been a big loss for this club. Royals obviously valuing Perez very much to give him a 5-year deal after a portion of his season in the major leagues. 1 or 2. They've done that with several of their young players. They've locked them up for several years to come. It's going to be interesting because it means with so many teams stepping up and signing guys to 4, 5, 6-year deals, fewer free agents will be out there on the market. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's up again, ball 3. That first inning was a lengthy one. Happ threw 27 pitches, Sanchez 29. Now back. Astros starters have really been in a slump as a group. They're now next to last in ERA in the National League at 4.70.
Team ERA for the month of June is over 7.
It's in the air, and the right fielder comes over for it near the line. And still going back. Matt Downs. For out number 2. He hasn't played a lot out there.
Nice little late adjustment there.
Downsy's 4th start at that position this year. Gerard Dyson, a speedy center fielder, steps up with a .261 average, 5 runs batted in.
Dave Clark up on the top step of the dugout, repositioning his outfielders. They play Dyson as an off-field hitter, and they tighten up. Maxwell over towards left center and shallow. J.D. Martinez toward the line.
Good pitch for Jay. 1 ball, 1 strike. Earlier this season, Jay, it might be a mechanical thing. He was really getting ahead of hitters, attacking, and he's probably trying to do that now. Out to left field, and this one is deeper and caught on the way back by J.D. Martinez, because Dyson's a singles hitter, so he backs up J.D. for 1-2-3 second, and half, and the Astros lead it 2-1. MD Anderson Cancer Center, making cancer history. Don Wilson, June 18, 1967, threw the first of his 2 career no-hitters. It was against the Braves, 2-0. He faced 30 and he struck out 15. Remains the only Houston player to throw 2 no-hitters, the other one against Cincinnati. Matt Downs, the batter, and Jonathan Sanchez misses in the dirt, ball 1. Downs at 174 with 4 homers, has 8 runs batted in, getting the call in right field, with Brian Bogusevic taking a rest tonight against the lefty. Downs gets one in the air to left. Coming over for it, Gordon. Gordon makes the catch for out number 1. And Chris Snyder next. Chris has a homer in his career off Sanchez. 4 runs batted in, 3 for 13. As he carries a 194 batting average, 3 homers, he's driven in 16. Has 19 hits and 16 runs batted in.
Chris has seen Sanchez more than any other Astro hitter. He's playing in the National League West for a time. Chris with the Diamondbacks, Sanchez a Giant.
Sanchez misses with the heater outside, ball 1. The left biceps tendonitis that put him on the shelf is something he's had to battle throughout his career. Coming inside there, it's 2 balls, no strikes.
Strikes brought to you by ChooseNissan.com.
Sanchez has failed to pitch more than 5 innings in his last 11 starts, dating back to last season. 2 balls and a strike.
Pretty good let up right there on 2-0.
Sanchez was born in Puerto Rico, went to Ohio Dominican College, an NAIA school, threw 4 no-hitters there, and another one in the big leagues in 09. That one goes foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Mr. Perfecto Matt Cain pitches later tonight for the Giants. Giants are in Seattle. Let's see, they were. going to have to check that schedule. He might be pitching tomorrow.
They're in Anaheim now, aren't they?
Yeah, they've moved on. Yeah, they're in Anaheim now. That's what it is. Outside, it's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Lincecum treated roughly in Seattle, but they have moved on, and they'll be meeting the Angels later on tonight. And Jerome Williams will pitch for the Angels. Down and in, ball 4. Snyder takes the stroll with Happ coming up next. Second walk for Sanchez. Jonathan now with 26 walks in 32 innings, really battling control issues.
Especially when you see a pitch like that. It's one thing to miss on 3-2, but when you miss that badly, it's just kind of all over the place.
Happ looks down for a sign from Dave Clark. He has 3 sacrifice bunts, 2 hits, and 23 at bats for Jay.
Show me a sign. Give me a sign. Anything.
Third baseman Moustakas in on the grass. He's charging. The bunt goes the other way. Sanchez picks it up, turns and tosses to Butler, and the sacrifice from 1 to 3 gets Snyder over. 2 outs. Altuve will bat. Altuve is 3rd in the league in hits. Worked the count to 3-1. Hit a fly ball to center in the first. And lately he's been getting called strikes on him up around shoulder level. And I really think the umpires are having a hard time adjusting to his strike zone. But of course, when you're a young player, you keep your mouth shut. That's the best way to handle it. There's strike 1. No quibbling with that call. Seems like kind of a perfect storm for the Astros hitters recently. Well pitched games against them. Maybe some strike calls going against the hitters. Maybe some over aggressiveness, as Mike Barnett pointed out. We try to exercise good judgment, but when you get to 2 strikes in the count, it's hard to do that, especially if you feel one of those calls might not have been a good one earlier in the count. Up the middle into center field. Snyder is going to come home. Here's the throw from Dyson. It's offline, and Snyder is tagged out by Quintero. Well, Altuve winds up at second base, but the inning is over on out number 3 as the play goes from 8-2 with Dyson's throw, getting Snyder. A 2-out send by Dave Clark, and the Royals execute to keep it at 2-1.
Our progressive fan of the game, and it's the Hunter family. They came a long way for this game, celebrating a birthday. It's Ethan's 10th birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And you guys came a long way. Tell us why you're here, and I know you're big Astro fans.
Yep, huge Astros fan. Every time we come to town, we try to see a game. We came from West Texas, Andrews, Texas, about 600 miles. And this little guy has a surgery scheduled for Wednesday. So he's got some birth defects that we got to take care of. And so we're here, and we're just thankful for Texas Children's, and they're going to take care of them.
Well, nothing like coming to a baseball game while you're waiting. Of course, you're celebrating the birthday, and baseball has obviously been a big part of your family for a long time.
Oh, yeah. This guy's big into sports, and we all love, especially being here. The Astrodome was always so much fun when I was his age, and now it's just good to see him here at this field. So.
All right, well, it's good to see you guys here. Happy birthday to you, Ethan. Congratulations on being our progressive fan of the game, and good luck to Hunter in his surgery on Wednesday.
I'd like to just remind everybody about March of Dimes that's out there. You know, it's tough when a baby has defects, and it's great that there's an organization that helps. So.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Patty. We wish them all the best. No balls, 2 strikes. Jonathan Sanchez, the batter. Jay Happ out in front of the count with Gordon and Betancourt to follow. Sanchez is late on the heater. It strikes out. That's number 1 for Happ. Alex Gordon follows. Gordon grounded out in the first inning. Gordon is from Nebraska. He went to the University of Nebraska, was the Baseball America College Player of the Year in 2005, won the Golden Spikes Award. Here's strike 1 to him.
The 5 draft, a pretty fertile one as you look at some pretty impressive names there.
The appeal goes to third base. Jerry Lane indicates a check swing. It's 1-1. Gordon's father played baseball for the Cornhuskers. His brother Brett is named for George Brett, Hall of Fame third sacker, and currently still working for the Royals. And Gordon was a third baseman when he came up. 2 balls and a strike. He signed a 4-year extension this year in spring training. Smacks one into right field. Gordon's aboard with hit number 3 for the Royals. The Royals are making the most out of an average of 3.89 runs per game this year. Betancourt had the triple and then later scored on the single by Francoeur in the first inning. Royals a year ago were 71 and 91. They had a pretty good offensive year last year with 730 runs scored. That was 6th in the American League. And they do press the attack on the bases. They were 2nd in steals last year in the American League with 153. Right now they're 8th. Gordon dancing off first, and there's the throw over. Gordon has 3 stolen bases in 5 tries.
This combination that Ned Yost likes to play a little hit and run with.
In the dirt. Ned Yost managed Milwaukee from 03 through 08. He was dismissed very late in the 08 season, and the Brewers went on to knock down a wild card spot and go into the playoffs after he left the scene, joining Kansas City in May of 2010. Near the right field line, Downs comes over for it. 2 outs. And Billy Butler follows. Butler has a career OPS well over 800. Good offensive numbers. Grounded to shortstop in the first inning with Betancourt at third base. He went to high school in Jacksonville, Florida with Eric Hurley, who later played for the Texas Rangers. They were both first-round picks, fifth pair of high school teammates to be first-rounders. There's ball one. We'll be hearing from the Astros' 41st overall pick in the draft, Lance McCullers. They took him after the first round of the draft, and he signed today. In town to throw a bullpen and then head on out to begin his professional career. Foul back, and it's a 1-ball-1-strike count.
Carlos Correa, the first overall pick, started his career. His first professional at bat, got a knock.
How about that? Well, we heard he was 1 for 5 today.
Oh, I didn't know he was 1 for 5. I just knew he had the knock.
Well, that's all that really matters. He got a hit in his first pro game in the Gulf Coast League. That's where McCullers is headed, at least for a little while. Little roller slowly hit, bringing in Altuve for a short throw on to first for out number 3. No runs a hit and the man stranded. The Astros lead it in the third, 2-1. Look back at Brian Bixler with a swing of the bat that produces his first major league home run. Second batter in the game, back in the first inning for the Astros.
The pride of Eastern Michigan University.
Yeah. He was standing tall like a Huron with that swing. Now he comes around for the second time. So as you mentioned, a very good call by the skipper to insert him into the lineup tonight. He paid immediate dividends. Now he takes strike one from Sanchez. Brian had gone 0 for 2 against Jonathan Sanchez in previous encounters. Swings over the top of that breaking pitch, and that makes it no balls, 2 strikes with Maxwell and Lee to follow. Hope he got in early for Astros Live. Greg Lucas had an interview with yesterday's starting pitcher Dallas Keuchel. Interesting to hear his thoughts after his major league debut.
Did a nice job.
He really did. Bixler's down on strikes. Let's go to Greg right now, in fact.
Well, we got some things to talk about coming up. You can spend lunch with the Astros this Wednesday for the 105 game against the Royals with the 9-inning lunch break package. You get a Field Box 2 ticket, $20 in food and beverage credit for only $45. 10,000 fans receive a 1960s retro cap courtesy of Bastion Technologies. So root now and buy tickets at Astros.com. A little bit later on, we're also going to be telling you about how you can get your emails in, because Wednesday will be an email the broadcaster's day. We'll tell you about that later.
Foul back by Justin Maxwell. There's strike one. He walked and came around to score on the 3-base throwing error by Jonathan Sanchez in the first inning on a pickoff throw. What a year in high school Lance McCullers Jr. had this year. Slider makes it 1-1. At Jesuit High School in Tampa, Florida, he was 13-0 with a 0.18 ERA, 140 strikeouts in 77 1/3 innings.
He must have given up like 5 runs all year.
He gave up 2.
2?
2 earned runs. He's now in the fold. And he'll be headed for Florida probably tomorrow. His whole family came in. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Justin Maxwell. It'll be fun to track these guys as they progress. Well, last year's #1 pick, George Springer, is playing in an all-star game tonight. And a curveball works for another strikeout.
Sanchez has discovered his breaking pitch all of a sudden.
He sure has.
Either he has or Q has. Really wasn't throwing many of them early.
Now it's Carlos Lee. He popped a short on a 2-0 pitch his first time up.
Kind of ironic that McCullers' dad, Lance, was also selected with the 41st overall pick.
Yeah.
That was back in 1982, second round in 82, and then McCullers Sr. came to the big leagues with the Padres at the age of 21. For the Padres, Yankees, Tigers, and Rangers in a 7-year career. Hard throwing reliever.
Sure was. George Springer's playing in the California Carolina League All-Star game tonight. Lee takes a look at it. It's ball 3. 3-1 to Carlos. He's a 292 lifetime hitter against Kansas City pitching. Lancaster Jethawks, George Springer's club, tied for first in their division in the first half of the season. There's a walk to Carlos. That's number 3 for Sanchez. Now J.D. Martinez single to right in the first inning. The Astros, in going 3-6 against the American League clubs so far this year, have averaged 4 runs per game. Their ERA is 6.31 in those games. Colby Lewis threw the ball very well yesterday for Texas against them. That's ball 1.
What was the other American League team we faced?
The White Sox.
White Sox. Astros just 1-5 against the Rangers.
Well, they've got 3 here with this club and then 3 with Cleveland this week. That's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike on the call by Mike Muchlinski. Pop back and out of play. It's 1-2. Well, the Astros have the largest disparity of any team with a winning record at home. They're 18-14 at home and 9-25 on the road. That's the biggest differential for a team with a winning record at home. And Kansas City's the other way. Kansas City is 18-15 on the road, 11-20 at home. They have the biggest differential of any team with a winning road record compared to home. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Royals started 0-10 at home this year. That's tough.
Yeah, part of that 12-game losing streak very early.
But they just won 2 out of 3 in St. Louis. And they'll go back home after this series to see if they can keep improving that home record.
Well, the good news for them, like the Astros, they're in a fairly mediocre division.
Well, that's for sure.
Sanchez looks really funky with his delivery in this inning. There's that breakdown Brownie was talking about. 11-20 on the road, or excuse me, at home for the Royals, but 8-15 on the road. The Astros fine here, but they cannot get it figured out on the road. Very much like last year. Astros ultimately were bad everywhere last year, but really struggled on the road.
They have almost identical records. Royals on the road and the Astros at home. And a strikeout means Sanchez gets 3 of those in the 3rd inning and keeps it close. 2-1 Houston after 3. Our AT&T trivia question. Who are the Royals' top 3 all-time hit leaders? Well, we would presume George Brett would be number 1. Well, how about somebody like Frank White?
Never spiked a rally.
There's ball 1 to Jeff Francoeur, who had the RBI single to center with 2 outs in the 1st inning. Willie Wilson, maybe? Have to think about that.
Royals started playing in 1969, and those were the glory days of Brett, White, and all those guys. Mid-late 70s, early 80s. Amos Otis.
He's another one. Yeah, he should probably be in the top 3. He played a long time for them. 2 balls and a strike.
This one played a long time for them. And bears mentioning here was Freddie Patek, the last 5'5" player to play in the big leagues before Altuve came along.
Absolutely. Al McRae had good years for them. 2 balls, 2 strikes. I was looking at a list of their managers today. Quite an imposing list of excellent skippers down through their history. Struck him out. Jay Happ buzzed one upstairs, got it by Francoeur for strikeout number 2.
Francoeur hit a fastball that was down about belt high last time. This time Jay goes up above the hands to finish him off, and that's a good spot to go against Francoeur. Kind of a long swing, an aggressive hitter, swings and misses a bunch.
Mike Moustakas, they call him Moose, hit a fly ball to center earlier. Broken bat, that goes flying over by first. Bixler with the play on to lead. We're out number 2. Wow, that one wound up all the way down by first base.
A little more dramatic than the average ground ball up the middle. Carlos has to make sure he doesn't get impaled on his way over to cover first.
Doug Sisson, the first base coach, retrieved it. That's 2 outs now, and it's Escobar batting. Now they had Bob Lemon was one of their early managers. Joe Gordon, I think, was the first one, but they had Dick Hauser, of course, Whitey Herzog. Some outstanding skippers down in their history. Strike 1 to Escobar. And they've been primarily one of those organizations that stress the homegrown talent down through the years. That's where they still are right now. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It hasn't worked out so well in a good long while. Last time they had a winning season was 2003.
They're a very small market team. 1-2, one of the very smallest. So they don't have the financial resources to pile on a lot of dollars for free agents.
Guy's loaded that owns that club.
Well, he is, but he doesn't want to spend it on the team.
Can.
He could. Who are the Royals' top 3 all-time hit leaders? George Brett, Frank White, Amos Otis.
Named all of them. It's an A-minus.
Breaking pitch is up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. It's the Yankees 4, Atlanta 2. They're in the top of the 7th inning at Yankee Stadium. Mark Teixeira, former Brave, hit his 12th home run. CC Sabathia has the lead. There's a liner to center. Maxwell in for a 1-2-3-4. That's 5 straight, retired by Happ. The Astros are up 2-1 in the 4th.
Totally Chicken Club. Make it a combo with fries and a drink. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money. Sleep happy. Astros hanging on with 2-1 lead. Let's go back to the booth. Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thank you, Greg. Beautiful evening out there in the distance. With some darker clouds. We thought maybe some rain might be in the offing tonight. Nothing so far that we're aware of. 2-1 Astros. Chris Johnson, the batter, he struck out earlier. And that comes in at 87 for strike 1. Breaking pitch makes it a 1-ball, 1-strike count with Downs and Snyder to follow CJ to the plate.
It's at times like Sanchez is dialing it back a little bit with that fastball just to try to find the strike zone. His best pitch so far probably been the curveball.
It does look that way. 1-2. Mets lead Baltimore 5-0. They're in the top of the 9th.
It's R.A. Dickey again.
Mike Davis hit his 7th homer. Dickey's still in there, of course.
He's got a long scoreless streak going.
Hit by the pitch. CJ is aboard. The left foot had got him. Yeah, Dickey's been something else. Fun to read the stories about him from Oral Hershiser, who was Rangers pitching coach when they convinced him to go to the minor leagues and learn that knuckleball, and others who have worked with him and around him. Now Matt Downs, he hit a fly ball to left earlier.
What was his scoreless streak coming into this game? In the 30s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was in the 30s. Ball 1 to Downs.
Oh no, he gave one up last time out.
Did he?
I did not know that. It was on. It's unearned, but it was a run. What's the rule? Unearned? What was the oral streak? Runs or earned runs?
Runs. High to left field and toward foul territory.
Pinging around up there in the rafters.
Yep. It hit the rafters, which means dead ball. Stockus was chasing it, and it hit about 50 feet behind where he was. He knew it had hit something. Dickey has given up 1 hit in 8 1/3 innings with 2 walks and 11 strikeouts. He has been absolutely sensational. He might be the All-Star game starter. Now pickoff play. Oh, he throws it away again. And Chris Johnson now will go on to third base. He didn't know where the ball was. He was looking to Dave Clark, who waved him on over. So another throwing error by Sanchez, his second of the night. This one a 2-base error.
A guy that just doesn't run at all. That's a really bad idea. I mean, even if he gets the throw there, I don't think they're going to get CJ.
Right.
Going on first move.
Ed Yost brings the infielders in.
Well, just hit it back to the pitcher and see if he'll airmail a throw down to first base again.
Downs takes it for ball 2.
You have to like your chances.
2 balls and a strike. 4th error this season for Jonathan Sanchez. Snyder's on deck. Rip foul.
You got Sanchez out there who's obviously has problems throwing to the bases. Billy Butler is the DH, doesn't play a lot of first base. I don't know how well he would have handled that play anyway had he received an accurate throw.
Yeah, usually it's Eric Hosmer at first, but Butler in the lineup tonight. Normally he DHs. Over third base, that will be caught by the left fielder Gordon, and he fires, and CJ goes back. Gordon has 5 outfield assists, and he led the majors last year in outfield assists. 1 out.
You got to be careful on this play because there's no way you're going to score on it. Sometimes left fielder will take a shot in behind you as you go down that line to drop the throw. He knows full well you're not going to try to score, and if you can get the shortstop over there to cover the bag or have the third baseman retreat, just sneak in behind you. I mean, it'd be a high risk play in case the runner actually was going. The likelihood that CJ would try to score on that, very remote.
Chris Snyder drew a walk in the second inning. He was thrown out at the plate trying to score on Altuve's hit. And this one over shortstop into left center field to make it 3-1 Houston. An RBI single for Snyder, his 17th run batted in.
D1 has been a big weapon for the Astros tonight, cashing another one after the errant throw from Sanchez on this RBI single from Chris Snyder.
Johnson scores, and that brings up Happ. Happ put down a sac bunt in the second inning. Running this time back to the pitcher, and he drops it and does not throw it away. And that's a story tonight. 2 outs.
Sanchez laughing at himself. Got the yips a little bit out there now. Actually, he's probably lucky that he mishandled it because it forced him to hurry up and make the throw. If he had a little time, he might have sailed it.
He might have. 2 outs now. Runner at second, and Altuve the batter. Altuve's hit very well with men in scoring position this year. 1 for 2 tonight. And got a hit with Snyder in scoring position, but Chris was thrown out at the plate. Strike one to Altuve. 340 is his batting average with runners in scoring position. With 2 outs and men in scoring position, it's 409.
Chris will be working extra hard here to get an aggressive secondary lead to give him a better chance to score on a routine single.
That one hit him. Second hit batter of the inning for Sanchez, and number 5 of the season for him.
Trying to bury that breaking ball down and in on Altuve, and I guess he was successful.
Yeah, he did that. Now Brian Bixler, who homered in the first, struck out in the third, gets a shot with runners at first and second and 2 outs here. Milwaukee leads Toronto 6-2 in Milwaukee. They've played 3 with Randy Wolf on the mound. Brett Lawrie hit his 6th home run. Popped up, backhand. Quintero cannot get to this. There's strike one. Colby Rasmus, who's really heated up, did an interview after the game yesterday and took a little shot at the Cardinal organization. He went 3 for 4 Sunday, and he's hit .352 since June 5th, 19 for 54. He said something on the interview about, well, they just leave me alone here and they don't try to mess with me. That was the issue in St. Louis. 1-1.
Yeah, he and Tony La Russa did not get along at all.
No. One of the 2 runs Sanchez gave up was unearned in the first inning. Bixler swings at that one. It's 1-2 to Brian.
Now, Toronto's got a very interesting club. They've got a dynamic lineup with a lot of power. Unfortunately for them, their pitching has been all banged up. But Drabek on the DL, Morrow on the DL. It was a 3rd starter, I think, hurt for them.
I believe you're right. Into right field by Bixler. Snyder gets a stop sign, and the bases are loaded. Bixler 2 for 3 tonight. Waited back to 2 strikes, pulled the trigger, and now it's Maxwell batting with 3 men on.
Yeah, this is a great example of why you'd prefer to have a guy in your 8-hole who can run a little bit. If you get a situation where your pitcher's up there and he's sacrificing a slower runner in a scoring position, a lot of times it takes 2 hits to score him. And the last time they tried to score Chris on that base hit to center field by Altuve, and he was thrown out. This time, no chance. There would have been a stop sign thrown up there for a lot of base runners as sharply as that ball was hit. But ideally, you'd prefer to have a little more speed in that 8-hole.
76 pitches for Sanchez. That other starter for the Blue Jays is injured. Drew Hutchison has a sprained right elbow ligament. Justin Maxwell with 3 career grand slams has a .571 average with the bases loaded. Tonight he's walked and struck out. And ball 1.
After that lengthy game yesterday, Ned Yost has got to get some innings from Sanchez, so nobody's up in the Royal bullpen. So a very vulnerable situation right now with Maxwell up there off this struggling left-hander. He really doesn't have a very good idea where he's throwing the baseball right now. So you just got to put him in a box, be patient, find something you can drive.
Maxwell's been playing quite a bit. 11 starts in the last 13 games.
Got him right where he wants him right now.
Justin has hit .239 against lefties this year.
sold out, was cheating on a heater, and Sanchez threw him a good changeup. One of the better pitches he's thrown tonight. A little 2-0 let up, fading down and away.
Good call. Up for ball 3. 3-1. Astros have 5 hits. Sanchez has walked 3. He's hit 2 batters. He's made 2 throwing errors. Big 3-1. And foul back. Now a full count with 2 outs and 2 on. Or 3 on. Astros as a team have hit 185 with the bases loaded this year.
This is the situation Mike Barnett was talking about earlier. Bats like this, the Astros have come out of their game plan a little bit, expanded to try to do something big. Not this time.
Yeah, he took it. And that means run number 4 comes across the plate. Chris Snyder scores it. Maxwell gets the RBI, his 22nd, with his 2nd walk of the night. Mr. Bases loaded, Carlos Lee will get a shot. Carlos has popped to short and he has walked. In the air and second baseman's underneath. Betancourt. In the 4th inning, the Astros get 2. They lead it 4-1.
Drive. Looking ahead to game 2 of this series tomorrow, Wandy Rodriguez goes to the bump for the Astros. Wandy is the guy that helped the team rebound after the perfect game by Matt Cain. Game 3 against the Giants, Wandy went out and pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 6 hits, struck out 3. In fact, Wandy has won his last 2 starts. He's 6-4 with a 3.35 ERA going into tomorrow's matchup with right-hander Luke Kokovar. We'll get you started with Astros Live at 6:30. That's your Mazda game break. Let's go back to Brownie and JD.
Thank you, Bart. 4-1 ball game. Jay Happ has a little cushion now as he goes to the 5th inning with Quintero, Dyson, and Sanchez due up for Kansas City. Humberto worked the count full. He hit a fly ball to right in the 2nd inning. Jay Happ throws a close one. It's called ball 1 by Bob Davidson.
Throw it again, it'll be strike 1. Can't miss that one twice in a row.
Liner goes foul. It's 1-1.
Down there. Oh man, in traffic. Another guy's lucky he didn't get in the forehead. He was a little late to the party there.
Very late. Chris Johnson fields the one hopper. 1 out. And it's Gerard Dyson coming up next. It could be a turnaround game for Jay, who suffered those 4 losses in consecutive starts, although 2 of those were quality starts. Dyson hit the ball in the air and it was caught by the left fielder J.D. Martinez. He backed him up. J.D. was very shallow, but there's every reason to be shallow on this hitter. Showing bunt, taking strike 1. It's a 1-hit shutout for R.A. Dickey. Mets 5, Baltimore nothing. Dickey 11-1 with an ERA of 2.00.
It's back-to-back one-hitters for him.
Oh, that's right.
It was a contested one-hitter in his last start.
Yeah, true.
Mets appealed to the league office. Infield hit, the only hit in that ballgame. This is an unbelievable role that Dickey is on. Just unbelievable.
Just reading about him and the different speeds he has on that knuckleball. He is really one of the unique ones among knuckleball pitchers. And there was a glowing quote about his work from Phil Niekro, just talking about how this streak he has put together is one that he can't recall from a knuckleball. It's so very consistent.
Yeah, that's right. Usually the standard thinking with a knuckleballer is inconsistent. Tough pitch to master and kind of relieve you from time to time, but he's been remarkably consistent. His 3rd complete game in his last 4 starts.
3-1 now for Jay, and he needs to come in on Dyson.
He's not allowed an earned run in his last 5 starts.
That's amazing.
42 innings worth.
3-2, and you know there have been, of course, excellent knuckleball pitchers, Phil and Joe Niekro and Wilbur Wood and so on down the line. But quite often a knuckleball pitcher is a guy who's about a 500 pitcher, just eats up innings, and that's fine. Fly ball to center. Maxwell. But he just is going to the top of the class here in recent years anyway. Brad Lidge designated for assignment. Brandon Beachy on the DL. Dickey continues to churn out wins. The Phillies are 3-12 in their last 15. And you talked about those 3 starters on the DL.
Blue Jay trainers are not hot.
No, they are not. 2 outs, and now it's Sanchez. And normally he probably would be coming out for a pinch hitter, but because of the tired bullpen, that is not the case. There's strike 1. And you mentioned that 9 innings were pitched by the Kansas City relievers. They only gave up 1 run in those 9 innings yesterday. 0-2. Their closer, Jonathan Broxton, worked 2 innings. He's not thought to be available tonight. Lefty Tim Collins worked 3 innings. He's not thought to be available. And that's a strikeout, and that is now 8 in a row set down by Jay Happ. He gets his 3rd strikeout, and the Astros lead it 4-1.
games. It's hosted by Emily Reppert. If you go to the website, hometownkids.tv, you can find out a way to suggest a hometown kid. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about youngsters who've had experiences. Could be sports, could be something else. That's every Saturday. Catch the show at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston. Go into that website, hometownkids.tv, and find out what it's all about. Emily Reppert is the host. She'd like to hear from you. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Greg. It's 4-1. The Astros lead it. J.D. Martinez in the box as the bottom of the fifth inning gets underway. He's 1 for 2. He singled to right in the first. And gets a foul ball there. Strike one. 84 pitches for Jonathan Sanchez so far. He's allowed 4 runs, 3 of them earned. And really battling control issues. He seemed to dial it back again on that pitch to get it into the strike zone area. It's 0-2. Sanchez in the past has pitched very well against the Astros with a 1.65 ERA. Up the middle and into center field. Martinez is 2 for 3.
Two strikes. JD that time went out of the strike zone after a high fastball and was able to get on top of it, banging up the middle for a knock.
Chris Johnson struck out and he was hit by a pitch and later scored. Matt Downs on deck.
I'm thinking take a big lead and see if you can induce a pickoff throw.
It's a thought.
Give CJ plenty of room in right center. He's at his best when he's driving the ball that way.
In the air to center, Dyson backing for the first out of the inning. And it'll be Matt Downs. He twice his fly to left.
It's one you might have been able to tag up on and try to scoot into second base. He was deep enough. He was high enough. You knew he was going to be able to run under and make a catch. Certainly would have been a play for a real speedy guy to try.
Sanchez tossed his no-hitter in July of 2009 against San Diego. It was almost a perfect game, but there was an error by Juan Uribe in the 8th inning. Struck out 11 in that game. Ball one. Luke Hochevar goes tomorrow night for Kansas City against Wandy Rodriguez. Wednesday in the 105 start, it's Vin Mazzaro and Jordan Lyles. One. Thursday's an off day. The Cleveland Indians are here starting Friday night for a 3-game set. And Friday a special day. Not only is it one of those flashback Fridays with the Astros returning to days of yore with their uniforms, but Joe Morgan Friday will be inducted into the Astros Walk of Fame that afternoon and then be signing autographs and throw out the first pitch that night. There's a shot knocked down and there's a throw to third for one and on to first. Moustakas to Betancourt to Butler for a double play. Moustakas had to take that one off the midsection. No runs a hit, nobody left. 8 pitches in the inning. The Astros lead it.
Tuned into the pregame show, you heard me talking about this guy right here, the Astros' latest signee, the number 2 pick, their number 2 pick in the draft, Lance McCullers. And welcome to Minute Maid Park. Boy, you have had quite a whirlwind of a day.
Yeah, I've had an awesome day. Couldn't have asked for a better welcoming from the people in Houston, and I'm really excited about it, everything that's been taking place.
So let's talk about what has taken place. You had the press conference today, and then after that, take us through that, because I know that was pretty exciting. You went in the clubhouse, you came out, just take us through your day.
Yeah, I signed, and then we had the press conference, went down to the clubhouse. My jersey was hanging there in a locker. Got to meet some of the guys, great guys on the team, and came out on the field, did some pregame stretching with the pitchers, and then I long tossed a little bit, and I went to the bullpen through a short, nice little bullpen. Then I just kind of hung out with some of the guys in center field, and we took they were taking BP. We were fielding ground balls, and it was just a great day. And I'm really fortunate to be out here, and I'm so happy that these fans and the team embraced me like they did.
And we're looking at you out there right now with Doug Roquel was talking to you. Was he giving you any tips? What was he talking to you about out there?
We were just kind of talking back and forth. We kind of talked a little bit before my bullpen because he knew I hadn't been throwing a lot. When you're in your best mid-season mode, what are you doing the best? And he said he would make sure to watch out for that during my bullpen. If I wasn't doing it, he would let me know. So stuff like that.
Well, I've been watching you down here. You've been inundated with fans, already a fan favorite. You haven't even taken the field yet, but they're already screaming for you down in Kissimmee. But tell us where you're going to go and where we can expect to see you.
The plan is to sit me down in Kissimmee and let me get my legs back under me a little bit, let me get working out again, throwing bullpens, things like that. After that happens, I will. They have plans to move me either to Tennessee or to the tri-state area with the New York Penn League. So I'm looking forward to it. Where they send me, I'm going to pitch my heart out and try to be here as soon as possible.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of your stuff. I mean, you talked in the press conference about learning how to be a pitcher more than just a thrower, but you tossed over 77 innings, a .18 ERA. I mean, they're numbers like I've never seen before, but tell us what you bring and what you have.
Well, first and foremost, I bring a lot of heart to the mound, and I bring a lot of effort out there. My will to win is, I think it's my one separator. Talent's one thing, but there's other stuff to baseball. But on the mound, I have, I feature like a 93 to 97 mile an hour fastball. That's where it usually sits. It runs up there about 100 miles an hour every now and then. And I have a nice hard curveball slider, some people call it, and a nice developing changeup that I'm really starting to use more. There's some really good ones in the bullpen, and I have some good action on my fastball, which gets me out of trouble sometimes. Yeah,
it sounds like no big deal. So let's talk about your dad a little bit. Lance McCullers, drafted by the Phillies back in '85. How much do you, I know he's so proud of you. I talked to him earlier. How much do you credit to him, and tell us the story about your number 41 and why?
My dad's been everything in my success and my development as a young man and a baseball player. Never forced a game of baseball on me. Just really let it come naturally. I fell in love with the game, and I couldn't ask for a better mentor, a better friend, and a better hero to look up to all my life. He's a great guy off the field, treats my mom the right way, and puts his family first like a man should. And he's taught me everything on the field, how to handle ups and downs with baseball, and just the mental approach. So, I give all the credit in the world to my dad, and I wouldn't be here today and beautiful Minute Maid Park without him.
And you're wearing number 41. He was number 41. Both drafted in the 41 spot. Very cool story. And it's been a pleasure meeting you. We can't wait to see you up here.
Yeah, I can't wait to be here, and thank you very, very much. Appreciate it.
All right, guys.
2 balls, 2 strikes after the double by Gordon. Very close call at second base. He appeared to beat that tag from Altuve. He took third on a wild pitch. And now it's 2-2 to Betancourt with Butler on deck. And a 4-1 Astros lead for Jay Happ. And this one goes up the right field line, but Brian Bogusevic, the new right fielder, will not have a shot at it. He just replaced Matt Downs as the Astros came out here for the bottom of the 6th inning. Downs was 0 for 3.
Downs, he tweaked something going down the line there in that double play.
Yeah.
That's a high school senior that was just talking to Patty down there.
Amazing, isn't it? 18 years old.
Yeah.
Very composed.
Oh, come on now.
3-2.
Come on, Bobby.
Bob Davis.
Taking a little time to regroup after that one. Thought he'd gotten his man, number 6, right there.
That was a compensation pick, by the way, for Clint Barmas being a free agent. Now back. So the Astros got that extra pick after the first round. Barmas now, after signing with Pittsburgh, a Pirate. Jed Lowry doing very well at shortstop for the Astros. So that situation has been a good one for them.
When we were in Pittsburgh, Clinton was really struggling. I don't know if he's picked it up or not.
He has. But still not the neighborhood he'd like to be in. 3-2 now. And Happ throws the high pitch. It's foul back. Snyder will not get a shot.
It's an interesting situation to be in here if you're happy. If you made that pitch earlier, you should have had him punched out, didn't get the call, so that's frustrating, but you got to live with it. So now he probably knows or feels pretty comfortable that he'd get Betancourt to chase something out of the zone. That's the MO with Betancourt. He swings at everything. But if you go way up or way down and he's able to lay off, now you've walked him. You've got a 3-run lead. You really don't want to be walking guys. So that's the decision you have to make. Do you give in? Or do you trust that he's going to take a hack at one?
Pops it up. Chris Johnson over to foul territory. That's one out. And 92 pitches for Happ. Billy Butler will follow. Butler's 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts. Royals have some key players who are injured right now. Former Astro Felipe Paulino said he's about ready to leave, I think, tomorrow on a rehab assignment. They had a lefty starter, Danny Duffy. He's out with Tommy John surgery. Their closer, Joaquim Soria, is out. And Chris Getz, their second baseman, just went down today. Ground ball. Carlos Lee will settle for the out at first with Gordon scoring to make it 4-2. He threw his arm back. Gordon coming across the plate to make it a 2-run Houston lead, and Butler getting his 39th run batted in.
Might have had a shot at him. Again, with that 3-run lead, if you're not sure, probably did the right thing just to take the out at first base.
Good work by Gordon. He got a nice break on that grounder. Jeff Francoeur, the batter, he had an RBI single in the first, struck out in the 4th inning. Cedeno and Carpenter warming up for Houston. And both these bullpens have just seen a ton of work in recent games. So Happ had 95 pitches, trying to finish up the 6th inning here with a 2-run lead. And it's foul back to strike 1. Carpenter, the right-hander, he pitched yesterday. And Cedeno also threw in that game at Texas. Swing and a miss there, makes it 0-2. You know, there was a note from Sports Illustrated preseason. On average, JD, 38% of big leaguers land on the disabled list each season. Doesn't that sound high to you?
Wow.
Really high. 38%.
That does seem high. Better than a third of all players end up on the DL in a single season.
That was a shocker. It's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Moustakas on deck.
Well, how many have the Astros had on the DL this year?
7.
How many players have they had on their roster? 32 or 3, right? Probably.
Yeah. 3 balls, 2 strikes for Happ.
It's starting to sound more feasible.
Might be. That was a grand slam by Ike Davis in that Mets win for R.A. Dickey. You know, after a signing today with Lance McCullers and the press conference, and then he was on the field, he was being interviewed. Bobby Heck was down there. There's Bobby right in front of him with the coat and tie on. We were chatting about kind of the draft strategy of the Astros, and the talent pool and the way things have gone recently, because you and I had that conversation on the air a few days ago about all the dominant pitching, and it just doesn't seem that the hitters are as plentiful in recent years. Foul ball there. And Bobby Heck said, well, yeah, that's right. He said, you know, we were looking at the pitcher from USC, but he said we had 5 or 6 guys we could have taken, but very happy with the infielder we took, rather, the shortstop from Puerto Rico, Correa. But he said, if you get a choice, you're going to take the position player in a draft. Line shot right field. Bogusevic over. He makes the running catch. And it's 1 run, 1 hit. In the middle of the 6th inning, 4-2. The Astros lead the Royals.
The Astros will host the Indians, featuring the 1970s rainbow jerseys on the field. 10,000 fans receive a Craig Biggio Greatest Moments bobblehead, courtesy of Coca-Cola. That bobblehead, by the way, is the second in a set of 7 Greatest Moment bobbleheads. You can buy your tickets at Astros.com. That's just part of the big festivities coming up Friday on Flashback Friday, the next edition, guys.
It's Hall of Fame second baseman day on Friday. Joe Morgan and Craig Biggio will be one soon, we know. Chris Snyder fouls it back, strike 1. Right below us, they are scrambling for the baseball. And it ricocheted down. Snyder's been on both times with a walk and an RBI single.
Hey, do you think we can get Altuve when he bats to flap his arm like Joe Morgan?
Oh, that'd
Joe's
be
here?
fun. Let's talk to him about that.
Maybe get the whole team to do it?
Oh, that would be great. Nice little tribute. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Altuve is such a congenial guy. But we don't want him to follow the career path Joe Morgan followed, who got traded and then got even better when he left here.
Yeah.
2 balls and a strike. There's a report on Astros.com that Bud Norris is improving quickly from his sprained left knee. He threw in the bullpen prior to the game tonight. He's encouraged. Doug Brocail is encouraged. And they might send him out on a rehab assignment later on this week. He was pain-free. Take a day off, throw another light side, and maybe go out. Two and two. In the air and maybe playable for Butler. He is out of room and it's not playable. lady in the second row scared. Jay Happ is on deck. The Astros now have signed 27 of their 41 draft picks, including 16 players selected in the first 21 rounds. Out into center field. Dyson waiting. One out.
Well, I mean, they've done a heck of a job getting the Correa kid to sign a couple $1 million below slot and freeing up some money, and then being able to sign McCullers. That's quite a coup to get, Correa, great, talented young shortstop, and now you get one of the best high school arms in the country.
Yeah. Happ has 2 sack bunts, and then Bobby Heck is so pleased that they're going to be playing. Correa already did play today. McCullers will be playing soon. So it's not that wasted year that has so often been the case with many clubs with high draft choices negotiating all season long. And Scott Boras is the agent for Lance McCullers Jr. And he was at the press conference today. He fielded a number of questions. He has a good fit with the Astros GM Jeff Luhnow from their St. Louis days, and felt very comfortable with the Astros organization and the way it brings players along. He said that was extremely important before we even talked about dollars and cents. He was talking about how we were going to approach his development as a player. Knapp takes a look at the 100th pitch from Sanchez, and it's ball 2. The Astros are well aware of the innings pitched by McCullers in high school this year. 3 balls and a strike. Broken bat. Here's Butler coming in for it. Who's going to cover first? Happ is tagged out. Somebody had to, as it turned out. 2 outs.
If that's not the weakest pop-up in the history of the game, it's in the top 3.
Bad thing about that is his hand's going to be buzzing for a little while.
That's a full swing right there. That is a well-executed lob wedge. It takes a lot of guts to take that big of a swing and finesse that little lob wedge in there like that. Look at it check up. Leave himself a nice little 8-footer up the hill.
Jim Furyk could have used that yesterday. Altuve, the batter, he has a single. He's been hit by a pitch. He bangs that one foul for strike 1. Altuve continues to lead all major league second basemen in batting average and hits. Jed Lowry is on a club record pace for a shortstop for slugging percentage. So it's a dynamic duo up the middle for the Astros here in the first half.
Note the other day, only Jeter and Cano more productive than the tandem of Altuve and Lowry in all of Major League Baseball. What's the club record for hits in this season?
210.
It's Altuve pacing at.
Let's see. We don't know.
Check that out. Okay. Falling off there and keep us in alive so we can look that up.
He's almost pacing a little higher. He has 84. Not to the halfway point yet, so he's on a nice clip. 60. This is game number 64. Yeah, he would be on a club record pace, wouldn't he?
Let's see here.
I believe so. We don't know how many games he's going to wind up playing.
On a pace for 203 hits.
Okay, not quite there then.
Turn it up a little bit.
Francoeur legging it over toward the right field corner. Handles that one for out number 3. And after 6, the Astros lead the Royals 4-2.
efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T, rethink possible. Nice bounce back for Jay Happ. By the way, Wednesday we'll be having another email opportunity. Here's how you do it. FoxSportsHouston.com. Go there. If the Game Connect link is not on the front page, sometimes it's not, click on the little Astro open star and then Game Connect. Then you can ask the broadcast team. There is a little box for that inside, and JD and Brownie will answer 2 or 3 of those next Wednesday on the pregame show, guys.
Thanks, Greg. Mike Moustakas just took ball 1. He is 0 for 2. 4-2 Astros. Jay Happ evens the count at 1 ball, 1 strike on Moustakas. He played for a National High School Championship team in 04 in California. His uncle Tom Robson both played and coached for the Texas Rangers. 2 balls and a strike. Good defensive player as well. It's Lewis Coleman warming up for the Royals. David Carpenter for the Astros. Happ's thrown 106 pitches.
Brad Mills has to be thrilled to have a starting pitcher at least starting the 7th inning.
Yeah.
Hasn't happened very much lately.
3 balls, 1 strike.
And Lucas Harrell went 7 1/3 in Chicago on the last road trip. Wandy went 6. Everything else was 5 or less, 5+ or less.
That's a walk to Moustakas. And the first of the night for Happ. Jay walked 5 his last start at home June 7th against St. Louis in 4 2/3 innings. Brad Mills is coming out. He wants the right-hander Carpenter. And Jay Happ in a position to snap that 4-game personal losing streak. We'll need help from the Astros bullpen. It's 4-2 Houston, top of the 7th. Runner at first, nobody out. Back in a moment. With a home run that tied it at 1 as he connected for his first major league long ball in the bottom of the 1st inning. And Justin Maxwell romped around from first base on a 3-base throwing error by Jonathan Sanchez on a pickoff throw to give Houston a 2-1 lead after 1. Chris Snyder delivering a hit. And the Astros got the RBI single from their catcher, sending home Chris Johnson. They went up 3-1. Later a bases loaded walk to Maxwell made it 4-1. Jay Happ exits with those numbers. And the runner at first is his responsibility. David Carpenter facing Escobar now. Escobar's 0 for 2.
So Brad Mills just going a batter at a time here in the 7th with Jay Happ. Sent him back out there hoping he could get through one more. But after that leadoff walk, Mills opts to go to the bullpen.
Carpenter worked both Friday and Sunday in Texas. Gave up 2 runs in yesterday's game on a homer by Adrian Beltre.
I think Mills Hill's decision partially affected too by the fact that Happ had struggled his last couple of times out, so he can get him out of there feeling awfully good about his performance here tonight. He can win. He cannot lose this game. The unfortunate thing is the Astros had opportunities off Sanchez to open this lead up a little bit, and they haven't been able to take advantage of that. So it's still a tight ball game. Tight ball game, tired bullpen.
Yep. 2-1. Carpenter has retired the first batter 14 times in 23 opportunities this year. First time in a while he's been in this type situation. 2-run lead facing the potential tying run in the 7th inning.
Everybody's role gets enhanced a little bit with Wilton Lopez on the DL.
Sure does. Line shot, single to center field. And runners are at first and second with nobody out, and Quintero coming up. Escobar coming through for Ned Yost.
Ned Yost, because he's short on arms, called up a couple of pitchers, so their bench only has 3 players. Meyer, Hosmer, and then the other catcher, Pena.
Now Wesley Wright is up in the bullpen.
He had to get ready in case Yost fired the Hosmer bullet here. Hosmer, the young player, was so good last year. He's struggling this year, but still a dangerous left-handed bat.
Quintero with the Astros expecting a bunt is 0 for 2. A fly ball to right, a ground ball to third. Hughes around to bunt, taking, and it's ball 1. The Royals have had a very exciting week. Not only have they gone 5-1, but they had not come from behind all season to win a game when they trailed after 8 innings. They've done that 3 times in the last week. Last sacrifice bunt for Quintero, April 11th of last year. Carlos charging, but he's swinging away this time. Hits a fly ball to right field, backing up Bogusevic. There's the catch for the out. Both runners tagging, and the throw goes to second, and it's there for the out. Escobar gunned down by Bogusevic for a double play. From 9-6 with Bixler there for the tag, and Moustakas is at third, but there are 2 outs now.
Somebody forget to remind Escobar that Bogusevic had come into the game. This is a foolhardy try. Perfect throw. Not even in the pictures that ball's bouncing into second base.
Big play in this game. Bogusevic just came in for Downs' second assist this year, and that was right on the money. Well, Carpenter turns and looks out at right field. He got a double play. Wesley Wright's coming in. It's 4-2 Houston. Back in a moment. Runner at third, 2 outs after the double play on the fly ball hit to Bogusevic. Wright is 0-1. His ERA 4.26.
Wesley and Brett Myers, the only Astro relievers who did not work over the weekend in Arlington against the Rangers. He last pitched on Thursday, a 1-2-3 inning against the Giants. And the Astros a lone win in that series.
Dyson's 0 for 2. Chris Johnson in tied at third. Eric Hosmer is on deck. Pitcher's spot due up next. Hosmer is a left-handed hitter. And it's ball one.
This Dyson kid's a good story. He was a 50th round draft pick. And when he made the opening day roster, he became the first 50th round draft pick to make an opening day roster since they limited the draft to 50 rounds. In 98, they went to 50 rounds.
Okay.
And they've since limited it even more.
Chase that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. As you saw, he hasn't done much damage against left-handed pitching. Dyson dropped down a bunt in the 15th inning yesterday and scored on a 2-run homer by Betancourt for the game winner. It's 2 balls and a strike. Dyson was at Omaha in April, recalled April 27th. From Macomb, Mississippi. Went to Southwest Mississippi Junior College. Had just 44 major league at-bats last year, 57 the year before. That one gets by Snyder, but no advance by the runner at third. He started to come. Moustakas then stopped as he saw it's not very far back for the catcher to retrieve the baseball. He gets the right kick behind home plate.
And I also think he didn't realize that had gotten by Snyder initially. Off the end of the glove. And he was retreating back to the bag as the ball got into the hitting zone and then thought about it.
Dyson wanted him to score.
It's like, I don't want to drive this run in. You realize who's hitting here? There's a lefty on the mound. See my numbers?
He draws the walk.
That's a bad walk.
Brandon Lyon warming up for Houston. And it's going to be Eric Hosmer. He is one of the top young players on this club and the everyday first baseman. Now Doug Brocail comes out. Hosmer hasn't really gotten on track this year the way he did last year. So they go over this matchup as Hosmer carries a .219 batting average. He has 8 homers, 32 runs batted in. A very good eye, 24 walks, 32 strikeouts. But he just has not gotten the results he got last year. There's a smile on Wesley Wright's face as Hosmer steps up, hitting .197 against lefties.
Hosmer last year as a rookie played in 128 games with the Royals, had 19 home runs, drove in 78, hit .293. So a bit of an adjustment here in the second year as the league has adjusted to him, apparently.
Hosmer takes ball one. Hosmer, 26 years old. He was the 3rd player drafted in the 08 draft from Miami. Won the Carolina League batting title at Wilmington 2 years ago. He looks at a strike. It's 1-1 to Hosmer. Hosmer just struggled so badly. The Royals had high expectations for him after the year he had last year. And he's also had bad luck on balls in play this year. Foul back. 1-2. And there's that old theory about batting average on balls in play. It's going to come up if it's way below average. Brandon Lyon and Xavier Cedeno warming up. But recently when Hosmer makes contact, his average was 165. Runner going, swing and a miss. And that'll do it in the 7th inning as Wesley Wright makes the big pitch to end the 7th inning threat with 2 men on base. And the Regulators are at work trying to protect this lead. 4-2 Houston. Right here with the Astros leading it. Back home for a 10-game homestand. We look ahead, and Chevron helps us with the next 2 games for the starting pitching matchups. Luke Hochevar tomorrow night against Wandy Rodriguez, 6:30 for Astros Live. And Wednesday it's a 12:30 Astros Live airtime for Vin Mazzaro and Jordan Lyles. Mazzaro with very good numbers, 2.57 ERA. Now Lewis Coleman, who was just called up today to help this bullpen out at AAA, is 0-1 with 2 saves and a 2.38 ERA. And it's Brian Bixler. Side armor wheels it in there for strike 1.
It was a big club last year. Coleman 1 and 4. 59 2/3 innings of work. Had good strikeout numbers. I believe he just chews up right-handed hitters with that delivery.
Royals bullpen has pitched the most innings in the majors, 18 1/3 in the weekend series against St. Louis. Bunted in the air and back out of play. Jay Happ in 6 innings allowed 4 hits, 2 runs, walking 1, fanning 3. Threw 107 pitches, 67 for strikes. David Carpenter worked 2/3 of an inning. He allowed 1 hit, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Wesley Wright coming in to get the big strikeout on Hosmer with 2 men on. And that's a swing. 1 out. Jonathan Sanchez in 6 innings allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, walking 4, fanning 3.
Drop down slider there from Coleman. He throws a fastball about 90 miles an hour. There's a lot of sliders, and occasionally he'll flip a changeup up there, but mostly fastball slider.
This is his 3rd stint with the Royals this year. Justin Maxwell has 2 walks and a strikeout. Came in on him. He turned on it and hit it down the left field line. A fair ball into the corner. And Maxwell will leg it into second base. And he whipped the bat around on that inside pitch and wound up with double number 5 of the year.
The cue set up outside, and this ball ends up off the plate inside a little bit. Justin's still able to get the barrel to it. With a 1-out double, as the Astros look for some insurance.
Farmers Insurance. We'll show you the report card. In fact, thank you, JD, for that wonderful segue. Carlos Lee leads the NL with 58.5% of swings put into play. He is 0 for 2 with a walk in this game. It's a little scary. Ball 1. J-Max was able to hang in there and turn on the inside pitch from this side armor. Coleman, a 5th-round pick in 2009 from Greenwood, Mississippi. He went to LSU. Foul back. 1 ball, 1 strike. Coleman pitched yesterday for Omaha. Worked a scoreless 9th inning with 2 strikeouts. So that's a tough pitch. 1-2.
Carlos going to protect mode here. Spread out a little bit, shorten the stroke, try to play pepper with the center fielder.
And he fouls it back. After that marathon game yesterday, 5 hours, 15 innings, the Royals called up 2 pitchers, Coleman and lefty Tommy Hotovy from Omaha. After that tired relief corps worked so hard over the weekend, and Nate Adcock, who was in their bullpen, was optioned to Omaha, and second baseman Chris Getz went on the DL to make room for the 2 new arrivals. Struck him out.
This man to strike out, but Coleman got him. He took a little something off that breaking ball. Had the big guy out on his front foot.
He sure did. Here it is.
Good sequence of pitches. He got away with the previous slider. Carlos had a pretty good whack at it. It was up in the zone a little bit. Q being a little cagey there. You see, as the pitch was about to be delivered, Q coming up out of his crouch as if he was asking for a high fastball. Seeing if Carlos was peeking or would maybe feel him back there rise up like that.
Strike to J.D. Martinez. He has 2 singles tonight.
Either that or he just had a cramp in his hamstring. Figured he'd stand up real quick.
Ooh. No balls, 2 strikes. Well, we'll have to check and see if Q caught yesterday. If he caught 15, I couldn't blame him for trying to get up out of that crouch today. Well, they used all their players in yesterday's game. They had a starting pitcher get a pinch hit. That's first in Royals history. It's 1-2.
Who did that?
We're going to check. I don't know if it was Bruce Chen. I think it might have been Bruce Chen. Time call.
Q played, but he only had 3 at bats.
Okay. They talk it over.
Yeah, it wasn't Bruce Chen.
Okay. It's got to be a thrill.
Wow.
The long history of this club. They started playing in '69. He's the first starting pitcher ever to get a pinch hit for the Royals.
Might be the first pitcher ever to get a pinch hit appearance.
He might be. He might be. And they just ran out of players. Well, 15 innings. Understandable. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes to J.D. Martinez. The Astros up by 2 here in the 7th. And looking for more. They've out hit the Royals 7-5. Kansas City has made 2 errors tonight. Cubs are pounding the White Sox 12-3 in the bottom of the 7th. Strikeout number 3 of the inning for Coleman. And after 7, it's 4-2 Houston. Center, great hands of the game, and we take a look at this play by Matt Downs. Right field line, one of his few starts in right field, and there's J.D. Martinez on the ball hit over his head by Dyson. Back in the 2nd inning, and Justin Maxwell in center. 3 starting outfielders, and then of course a good play, the double play by the current right fielder Brian Bogusevic.
That is the play of the game. The 2 key plays of the game. The errant throw by Sanchez that Maxwell came all the way around to score on back in the 1st inning, and then Bogusevic's throw to get Escobar trying to go to second base last inning. Royals at 1st and 2nd, nobody out. Q hits the fly ball to right. They take the bunt off, play a little play hit and run, but they took the bunt off, let Q swing away. Stalkus cruised into 3rd. They would have had 1st and 3rd, 1 out. But a great throw by Bogusevic.
Gordon looks at ball 1 from right. Wright struck out Hosmer after walking Dyson. And this might be his last batter. Two right-handed hitters up next, and Brandon Lyon has been warming up. 2-0 for Wesley. Last time he pitched, he got the side out in order in Thursday's win at San Francisco. He had a 5-3 lead in the 7th inning. Over strike to make it 2-1. 15,436 the attendance tonight. And the first of a 10-game homestand. Tomorrow night, Wandy Rodriguez and Luke Hochevar. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Gordon. Early play, of course, does not feature that familiarity of the hitters with the pitchers. And he struck him out. 2 strikeouts for Wesley Wright. That's usually the pitcher's advantage if a hitter hasn't faced him before.
Gordon showed patience early in the bat, working into a 2-0 count, but ultimately couldn't lay off that high fastball from Wesley, who was done for the night.
He got 2 important outs in this game. 4-2 Houston. Back in a moment. The regulators call on Brandon Lyon now. He is pitcher number 4 in this game tonight, and he comes in with 1 out in the 8th inning. Nobody on base, and a 2-run lead with Betancourt and Butler. Then Francoeur, all right-handed batters coming up.
Wesley Wright does his job, passes the baton on to Brandon, who is 0-1 with a 2.81 ERA. The strikeout to walk ratio is outstanding. He's allowed run zone his last 2 appearances, one in San Francisco and then yesterday in Arlington.
Betancourt the batter. He gets a break pitch, and it's strike 1. He tripled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. 7 hits for Houston, 5 for Kansas City. The Royals have both errors in the game. The Astros have stranded 7 to Kansas City's 4. Fastball makes it 1-1. The Royals have shown that fight recently, coming back from behind 3 times when trailing after 8 innings. Little tap goes foul, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. So as a result, they're only 5 games out of first place in their division with that 29-35 record.
Don't lose any ground to the White Sox tonight. They're getting thumped by the Cubs. Cleveland and the Reds were playing a wild one, and that looks like final. Cleveland beat the Reds 10-9.
Oh, it's a battle for the Governor's Cup in Ohio. Swing and a miss. He struck him out for out number 2.
Brandon comes with the breaking ball, keeps it down. Again, Betancourt staying true to form. He sees it. He's going to swing at it.
Billy Butler is 0 for 3. Got an RBI on a ground out in the 6th inning. That's strike one to Butler. Butler is usually the designated hitter. All of the Kansas City designated hitters have combined to hit .295 with 10 homers, 37 runs batted in. Very good production. 0-2. Red Myers is warming up for Houston. It's a little shot toward right field, and Bogusevic slides and grabs it to end the top of the 8th inning, and Rob Butler. Ryan Bogusevic has made 2 terrific plays tonight. It's 4-2 Houston.
Those are Lowry's Locos. They're still pumped even though he's getting the night off. Hey, if you're hitting the road, take the Astros with you this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today to see every Astros out-of-market game live online and on your favorite devices in HD quality. Visit Astros.com to order and get more details. MLB.tv. Baseball is everywhere. I want to thank Rachel Fry. She actually tweeted pointing this group out because they're a long way from where we're looking unless we get a camera on them. We didn't know who they were. But they had their sign, so they got their time in the sun.
What's with the wigs?
That's just to make them loco, I guess.
Okay.
You got to have some kind of an identifiable look to be a group like that.
Okay.
They're identifiable, all right.
That works. And the sunglasses. Very distinguishing characteristics. Chris Johnson lays off. And it's 1-1 to CJ. He's 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run. Well, they'll have Jed back in the lineup presumably tomorrow night. He's just being rested tonight. Wonder if they'll be making the trip to Kansas City if he's an all-star. It's a wicked breaking ball from that delivery when he keeps it down. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Right-handed hitter's got to be thinking about being quick from that arm angle if he throws that ball in on him, and then he takes a little bit off with that breaker. Strike 3. That's 4 strikeouts for Coleman. Done a nice job.
No argument there from CJ. I think he's just happy this AB was over.
Got you on that one. Now Brian Bogusevic has had an impact on this game defensively coming in for Matt Downs with 2 excellent plays in right field. 230s his average, including 4 homers, 17 driven in. He's had 186 at bats. This one to left field, and he's got a shot at extra bases and take all 4 as Bogus takes it out to left for home run number 5. 5-2 Astros.
I don't know if you can be player of the game in 2 innings, but he's making a pretty good bid for it. Pretty impressive performance off the bench from Bogusevic. How about Brad Mills? We want a deal in here tonight. Giving Bixler a start. That pays off. Starts Downsy in right field, then makes a defensive replacement. Bogusevic makes 2 outstanding plays, then gets the at-bat off the tough right-hander. The right-handed hitters haven't been able to do squat off of him. Bogey takes him deep.
And it's a 3-run lead now with 1 out and Chris Snyder batting. Chris has an RBI single, 1 for 2 with a walk. There's ball 1.
Nice play, little fella.
340-foot home run for Brian Bogusevic. It's a 1-ball-1-strike count.
Bogey jumping on that first pitch. We talked about it yesterday. He was hitting about 375 when putting the first pitch in play.
That was not a pinch hit at bat, but he is 4 for 8 as a pinch hitter, and this one off the bench, his first at bat of the game. So he's done well in that role. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jed Lowry's on deck. So his rooting section should be taking notice of that. 3 balls and a strike. Pitcher Spadu up next. Brandon Lyon. Coleman in his second inning of work. And that's a walk to Snyder. And he'll bring up pinch hitter Lowry. Greg?
A reminder that Astros Baseball on Fox Sports Houston is brought to you by the Progressive Insurance Group. For money-saving car insurance quote, call 1-800-PROGRESSIVE today.
Now hitting for Brandon Lyon, who in 2/3 of an inning allowed no hits, no runs, with no walks and 1 strikeout. It's Jed Lowry. 272, 13 homers to lead the club, 30 runs batted in, an 858 OPS. Ranking 15th in the league. Hits it in the air, and Betancourt in shallow right field takes care of out number 2. Now it's Altuve. Was a single up the middle in the second inning. Was hit by a pitch in the 4th. Cubs have gotten home runs from Soriano, number 13. Soto, number 4. Laher, number 13. Castro, number 6. Valbuena, number 2. And they're pounding the White Sox 12-3. Konerko hit his 13th, and Pierzynski his 12th for the Sox. Altuve looks at ball 1.
Cubs put Ryan Dempster on the DL today.
Really? Boy. They've been keeping that quiet, hadn't they? The way he's been pitching, that's a shocker.
Tight lat.
Okay. Laced into left field. Altuve was just ready for that pitch. He got what he was looking for, and he hammered it for his second hit of the night. Mr. Multi-hit has done it again.
Trails only Melky Cabrera. Been throwing that top hand tonight.
Sure has. That's a great result, and now the Astros have 2 men on with 2 outs for Bixler. Bixler has 2 hits, a homer and a single. Maxwell's on deck. It's 9 hits for Houston. Strike 1 there. No perfect game tonight for Matt Cain. It's 2-2. Giants and the Angels in the bottom of the second inning. Trumbo hit his 16th for the Angels. No balls, 2 strikes. He's been nails at home this year.
With Dempster going on the DL, they're going to put Randy Wells in the rotation. They've called up left-hander Scott Main to take his place on the roster. Dempster had 22 consecutive scoreless innings rather going. Having a marvelous year.
Ground ball. Foul. Jerry Lane waited before he indicated foul ball.
Great Bill Clem, right? The old-time umpire. It's nothing until I call it.
That's it.
Don't be in a hurry.
Well, the umpires are schooled to just pause a beat, make absolutely certain before they indicate on a ball like that. Nothing wrong with that at all. Smoked into left center field. Snyder around third. He'll score to make it 6-2. And here's Altuve. He's going to come home to make it a 2-run double. What a game for Bixler, driving in 3. He's 3 for 5. Homer, single, double for Bixler. 7-2 Astros.
Not 1 insurance run in this inning, but 3 now after this swing by Bixler. A little bit of a hanging slider. Who owes who here? Does Bixler owe Millsy a thank you for the start, or the other way around?
Good question. Good question.
We're making them look good.
Betty. Yeah, that's what it's all about. The players make the manager look good, but the manager gives them the opportunity also. Astros 4 for 8 with runners in scoring position. Brad Mills' club, a different club at home. Now Maxwell.
3 hits, 3 RBI, career highs for Brian Bixler.
That's ball 1.
Yeah, the guys at the top been on base all night long. 3 times for Altuve, 3 times for Bixler. Maxwell's been on 3 times, looking for a 4th.
Fouls that one back, and it's a 1-1 count. This is the 4th time Maxwell has hit 3rd in the lineup. The Astros are 3-0 in the first 3 games when he bats 3rd. To right field. Backing up Francoeur. Francoeur watches it fly into the seats for a 2-run homer for Maxwell. Number 8. 3 homers tonight for the Astros. Maxwell now has 3 runs batted in, giving him 24. 9-2 Houston.
And Coleman left out there to wear it with this fatigued Royals bullpen. He punched out 4 of the first 5 batters he faced, but after that, the Astros have jumped all over him. It started with the Bogusevic home run. Walk, pop up. Single, double, homer.
Carlos Lee looks at strike 1. Carlos 0 for 3 with a walk. Fouling it back. It's 0-2. It's Milwaukee 7, Toronto 6. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Milwaukee. Encarnacion belted number 18. Bautista number 20 for the Blue Jays. And a strikeout ends it in the Astros 8th inning. They come up with a 5-run frame on 4 hits. They get 2 bombs. Bogusevic takes it out to the Crawford boxes. And then a 2-run shot by Maxwell. Both opposite field home runs. 9-2 Houston. Now it is Brett Myers. He is pitcher number 4 from the group we call the regulators, the Astros relievers, after Jay Happ took the game the first 6. It is now 9-2. He was warming up when it would have been a safe situation, but he'll be in now with the extra runs that do not make it a safe situation. He's 16 for 17 and delivering ball 1 to Francoeur, who's 1 for 3, an RBI single, his first time up.
Myers did not pitch over the weekend in Arlington, so not a bad idea to get him out there for an inning anyway.
Foul ball over into the seats. That makes it 1-1.
Myers has been remarkably efficient this year. So many times he's come in there and just boom, 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 3 up, 3 down. His whip, 0.84, among the best of all relievers.
That comes in for a strike. 1-2.
Oh, my. Splash down.
That's disappointing. Pixler takes care of out number 1. This just didn't work out.
No, he thought he was going to catch it in the cup. Probably should have opted for the hat.
Still happy though.
Got the ball though.
Yeah.
And he can kind of make a trophy out of that. The cup and the ball, he can kind of glue it all together and make it a trophy.
Yeah. The ball is much more important than any of that other stuff. Strike to Mike Moustakas. He's 0 for 2 with a walk tonight.
It's really a low percentage play going for the cup there. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
An empty cup would have been all right. 1-1.
I'm not sure he was staying within himself there. I think he might have been trying to do a little too much.
I think he expanded his zone on that one.
I think he did.
2 balls.
All spring training, you don't try to make one catch with the cup. Use your hat, use your hand, and then boom, you get there and you try to be a hero.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Trying to make the play nobody else can make. Looking for a little YouTube glory.
I think the game got a little too fast for him. Destroyed the cup.
It doesn't work anymore.
Try to take a dainty sip out of that thing. A bomb went off in it. Line drive over shortstop into left center field. Here's a big turn by Moustakas. He's on with a 1-out single. Let's check this out again.
His intent was clear.
He had both hands.
Early on he made the determination he was going to go for it with the cup. I'm just glad he got the ball. It would have been disappointing to have the cup shatter and still not get the baseball.
Maybe it was a positioning thing.
Now you see, it does fit. He's showing everybody. See?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we've got proof then, through modern engineering, that it would have worked. Remove the liquid, and that would have been a catch. Any liquid is unearned in the rest of this inning because of that error. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chris Perez got his 22nd save tonight for the Tribe in that 10-9 wild one over Cincinnati. Tribe will be here this weekend. Kochman and Chu each hit number 6. Chisenhall number 3. Got the evidence. Liner into left for a hit. Escobar's aboard. First and second, 1 out now for Quintero. Royals may be a tired bunch, but they're still hitting in the 9th inning here.
All right, Q. 9-2 game. Ground ball is short here. We'll pack up.
Jason Bourgeois, who was traded with Quintero to Kansas City in spring training, is at AAA Omaha right now for the Royals. And the Astros got a couple of prospects in that deal. There's ball one. Actually, it's worked out well for Quintero, who's gotten a chance to play quite a bit for Kansas City. And the Astros were well fixed at catcher with Castro and Snyder. Foul back, and it's 1-1. Texas 2, San Diego 1. They've played a couple in San Diego. See if Josh Hamilton's back in the lineup after missing.
If not.
Okay. Curveball tap foul. That makes it 1 ball 2 strikes. As the former battery mates oppose each other here. That's Harrison going for Texas tonight against Marquis for the Padres.
Jason Marquis. He landed in San Diego.
He sure did, yeah.
Man, he's going to end up playing for everybody by the time he's done.
He is making the circuit. Still a 1 ball 2 strike count.
Marquis, still just 33 years of age. He have a little bit left in him.
He might. He might be a setup guy before all is said and done. Who knows?
Started the year in Minnesota. Things did not work out well for him there. At least he went from one good pitcher's park to another.
True. Sabathia won his 9th for the Yankees, 6-2 over Atlanta, and Mike Minor lost it. Cano hit his 13th. Teixeira his 12th.
That's 10 in a row now for the Bronx Bombers.
Ooh. They're 41-25. Ground ball through the hole and into left field. The bases are loaded. Bixler tried his best to stop it, but it got under his glove, and 3 straight singles with 1 out will bring up Dyson.
Not hit all that well, but certainly well placed. Quintero gets his first hit of the night. That's the one thing you have to worry about if you're Brad Mills. You don't want Myers to throw so many pitches tonight that he's not ready to go tomorrow, or possibly not at his best tomorrow. So that's the downside to bringing your closer into a game like this.
True. Mitch Myers on deck with a pitcher's spot due up next. Myers pitched in 2 of the games last weekend against the White Sox, a week ago Friday and a week ago yesterday, and saved the 6-3 win Thursday at San Francisco. Liner into right. That's in for a hit. 1 run scoring to make it 9-3. RBI single by Dyson. His 6th run batted in, and now Doug Brocail is out quickly to the mound after the 4 straight hits. Mitch Meyer will be the pinch hitter. Myers a 175 hitter with 2 homers, 6 runs batted in. He's had 63 at bats this year.
Well, you see it all the time where closers come into these non-safe situations, lopsided games, and they get hit around a little bit. They just don't have the intensity level. No pitcher would. You know, it's a completely different ball game when you're pitching in a 9-2 game versus a 3-2 game. The hitters too, a lot more relaxed.
Curve, strike 1 to Meyer. Doug Brocail goes to the mound usually when there's a pinch hitter coming up to go over strengths and weaknesses that might or might not have been discussed on that occasion. 1 ball, 1 strike. Meyer just turned 30. He was a first-round pick way back in '03 by the Royals. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning. Myers from Michigan. Taps that one foul. Lunging a little bit on the curve. And it's a 1-2 count. It's Meyer against Brett Myers. Just off the plate. 2-2. Could have been out number 2. Dirk. Good play there by Snyder. 3-2 now. Well, Myers does not have that command of his curveball that he so often does have. Arizona 4, Seattle nothing. They played 5 in the desert with Wade Miley, the impressive young lefty, shutting out the Mariners so far through 5. Broken bat fly ball. Maxwell with the grab. And here's a throw to the plate with a runner coming, and he scores. Took a high bounce. Sac fly for Meyer. That makes it 9-4. Escobar coming home.
That was an interesting goal there in that situation, wasn't it?
Very. I was shocked. That run means nothing right now.
Can you imagine if that's the last out of the game? I mean, the likelihood that they come back is 0.00001, but
I'm sure he's fast, but
you'll get a high five, if not a hug, from Meyer for getting an RBI for him.
Sure will. Gordon looks at ball 1. He's 2 for 4. Over shortstop. That's into left field. Stop sign here, and the bases are loaded again. On the single by Gordon, his 3rd hit of the night. The Royals keep coming back. Montero stopping at 3rd.
Getting thrown out at second base by Bogasevic didn't slow Escobar down at all. He took off again.
Betancourt is 1 for 4. He tripled and scored in the 1st inning. That's 10 hits for the Royals now, 11 for the Astros. Betancourt 7 for 13 against Myers. Chases that one for strike 1 as he is the 8th Royal to bat here in the 9th inning. .31 pitches for Myers. 4 grand slams for the Cuban second baseman. That one's out into center field, shallow, and that loops in for another hit. 2-run score on this one to make it 9-6. 2-run single for Betancourt. He has 15 runs batted in, and that is 6 hits in the inning.
Not exactly tearing the cover off the ball, but was putting up a pretty good fight here in the 9th inning. Talked about it all night long. Escobar, a guy who just loves to swing the bat. That ball off the plate, out away from him, hits it right off the end of the bat. Dunks it in there in front of Maxwell, and now we've got drama.
Potential tying run at the plate.
This is the guy that tied it for the Royals yesterday.
They strike 1 to Butler.
Wow.
Xavier Cedeno's warming up. Yeah, Butler hit a 98-mile-per-hour heater. Tied that game on an 0-2 pitch from Jason Mott yesterday.
Ooh, man, he got a swing at that.
0-2. Pitcher cannot create his own save. But here it is, the potential tying run at the plate. Well, it wouldn't be a save, but it would be a horrible one to lose for the Astros. Royals are 5 for 10 with men in scoring position.
The heart just goes out to Milsey. He's like, can I just have an easy win? He's got a 9-2 lead. Bringing his closer in just to get an inning of work. All of a sudden he has to confront a game-tying situation with a very dangerous hitter.
And he tops the ground ball foul. Ten times in their last 11 games, the Royals have played a game decided by 2 runs or less. They won by 2 yesterday, 5-3 in the 15th. It's 2-2 to Butler with Jeff Francoeur on deck. And Myers came in tonight. The batting average against him this year was 188. He's thrown 37 pitches, given up 6 hits. Line drive to right center. Gordon around third. He will score to make it 9-7 on an RBI single by Butler. Butler's 40th run batted in. 7 hits in the inning, and the Royals have batted around.
Wow, this is unbelievable. But that, a scary situation with Butler up there. He's such a good hitter. And certainly has plenty of pop. Francoeur, a dangerous hitter, but he's got a lot more holes than does Butler. He's more vulnerable. Still, if you hang one, he could turn you around.
Francoeur is a .209 career hitter against Myers. 9 hits and 43 at bats, 2 homers. Ball 1.
The Royals hit around here in the 9th. The Rangers hit around in each game of the 3-game series, batted around at least one time. Didn't see that coming here tonight.
No. That's into right field for another hit. Betancourt stopped at third on the arm of Bogusevic, and the bases are loaded with a 2-run lead.
And now Mills is going to have to make a tough decision. He's made up his mind. He's going to bring Cedeno in to face Moustakas.
What an amazing 9th inning for the Royals, who must have been dead tired when they came in after a 15-inning 5-hour game yesterday. And they have rallied for 5 runs here in the 9th inning. We'll be right back. Inning, and he comes in with no decisions, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks in 9 games, an ERA of 3.24.
So good at neutralizing lefties down in the minor leagues, but here at the big league level, left-handed hitters 5 out of 12 against him so far, and this is one of the most bizarre innings we've ever witnessed. Brett Myers came into this outing having allowed 15 hits all year in 22 2/3 innings. He just allowed 7 in the span of 9 batters.
And now it's Cedeno against Mike Moustakas. Bases loaded, 2 outs with a 2-run lead. And there's ball 1. Moustakas has a walk and a single. Cedeno got his first professional save earlier this year for Oklahoma City.
His heart must be just thumping in that chest.
He throws a strike. 1-1 to Moustakas. Cedeno pitching with a lead for the first time with the Astros this year, giving up 2 hits and 1 run yesterday in the 9-3 loss at Texas. Breaking pitch.
Good pitch.
1-2. And now he is the story.
Just a game of catch, kid. Deep breath, find the target, Blow it out. Go get him.
25 years old from Puerto Rico. In the dirt. Snyder appeals the swing. It's 2-2 to Moustakas.
Moustakas hitting .246 this year against left-handed pitching. Nobody warming up in the Astros pen.
Cedeno was in the Rockies organization until the Astros signed him as a minor league free agent in December of 2010. Fly ball in the infield, and what a job Cedeno has done with a foul pop to Carlos Lee to end it and get his first major league save. It's a 45-pitch inning for the Astros. As the guns go off, the Astros nail it down 9-7. That's the final in game 1 of this 10-game homestand.